money. Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
You're right the way, Kick Dick back here, and welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast with Philly 500 and Joey Shakes. Joey, what is going on, my man? How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a crazy week. It's been a week for everything football related. It's been kind of crazy. We haven't talked since really the start of free agency, and really since the extensions, and a lot has went down. And Eagle fans are split on a lot of things, and it's been a lot of back and forth. So,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's a crazy time, no doubt about it. And we're gonna definitely get into it. It should be interesting. KGK, what's going on, my man? Daniel San, what is up? A Warrior Rage, Jolo, Sean, Little G Griffin, Jonas, Parker, John Jones, Eagles, MJ. Thank you guys so much for being here. Anybody that I missed, I apologize. Trey, J, ADW, the Beast. What is up? Sewell Blaze, thank you for the super chat. To the first one of the night. Thank you. What up, fellas? What's going on? How are you? Hope you're doing good. Dave D, Dave Super Jiggles, how's your day going? Day's been all right. It's been okay. I slept like crap yesterday, so I just been kind of tired all day, just bumming around pretty much. What about you?
Yeah.
You're sick, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting out of it now. My body's just tired as hell. So it's just this week has been, it's been tough this week, no doubt. It's been tough.
Yeah. So, it's like, where do you start on this whole thing? So we're going to start on some stuff that happened today and last night, and then we'll go from there. First thing, you guys probably saw this. Adam Schefter reported former Eagles free agent wide receiver Paris Campbell reached an agreement today on a one-year deal with the stinky Dallas Cowboys. Per source, the Cowboys become his third NFC East team. So he's just sloppy seconds and thirds at this point. I'm sorry. I have no. When you go to Dallas, how I feel about you changes. Like Miles going to Dallas bothers me.
Because I don't think he had interest anywhere else. I don't think. No, I think going to Dallas guarantees him playing time. I think that's.
I get it, and I don't blame him for doing it. I don't hold it against him. But when you wear that helmet, I just can't root for you, dude. I just can't.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, and then this was big last night, and I was hoping for a miracle in this situation, but it wasn't a surprise. After the best year of his career, Pound Eagles guard Mekhi Becton, the former first rounder, has signed with the Chargers. Big time help on their O-line, as they'll never win, and he'll never win a championship, not in the next 2 years, because Chargers ain't winning shit. But the Chargers are paying Mekhi Becton 2 years, $20 million. That's $10 million a year. What are your thoughts on Mekhi Becton?
Yeah, it's we were holding out, hoping that it was he was going to come back. It was we saw these guards getting paid 4 years, 70 plus, 80 plus. So we figured he was already off the table. But I know it seemed like it was going in our direction, but I guess the Eagles were just like, you know what, we'll take the comp pick, and we'll move on. It's a great story. His story will always be an amazing one for us. For him to be so effective at guard, even going over to LA, he's got to have a guy, an all-pro like Lane Johnson next to him. He's got to have so much around him.
Doesn't he have alt over there, right tackle?
Maybe, yeah, it probably does. So
I think he does have a good tackle next to him. So
okay,
it might help him. But the question is, will he be different without Stoutland? That to me, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So that right guard spot is there's a hole there. What do you think happens?
I don't know. I mean, look, they have Steen, they have Trevor Keegan. We're pretty high on him going to the offseason program, and they traded obviously for Kenyon Green, which we'll get into that. So a couple projects, and hopefully somebody steps up. Is it enough? I don't know. I don't know. I feel good about what we have in the room right now, but is someone going to step up to the plate and can play consistent all year? If they add another body through the draft, we'll see. But
right. Well, Christopher, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Hey Joey, what do you do for work? You always upload super late on the East Coast."
I'm a supervisor for a company that I've been there for a while, so my schedule's all fucked up.
Thank you for super chat. But I think I think Steen has got to be the favorite going into the season right now, or into the off season programs and all that. However, I'm going to say keep an eye on Keegan, and then let's see what this kid can do from Houston that they brought in, former first round pick. Can he be the next Mekhi Becton? That's going to be the question, because we got him with one of the worst moves I feel like the Eagles could have did make. It just makes me sick in my stomach when they traded one CJ Gardner-Johnson. I don't like this move. I don't understand the move. And to me, you've created a hole that wasn't there. And I just think that there's probably a lot we don't know behind the scenes, because I don't know. I'm not buying why they got rid of him.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it first happened, it was shocking. I mean, it was just something we weren't really expecting. But I want to know the context behind it. So you trade Chauncey to Houston for Kenyon Green. You trade a 26 six rounder for a 25th. A 26 fifth rounder. So realistically, it's a player swap and it's a pick swap to move up from the 6th to the 5th round in 26. That's all it was. But I said to myself, what's the context behind this move? Like, there's got to be something behind this thing. When it first happened, I was kind of like, okay, this trade makes no sense at all. But what's happening with this trade is that they're going to save cap the next 3 years, counting this year. Not much, like $200K. It's not much. Whatever the savings is this year, you save $6 million in 26. You save 13.8 in 27. So you're saving some big chunks down the road. I guess they were trying to look for somebody that I guess they don't think that Chauncey is a centerpiece, but of the future, since he's 27, 28. But at the end of the day, too, you're trying to get to another Super Bowl this year. So I understand you have a lot of contracts you got to pay, and I understand it and I get it. And I'm kind of like, I'm at ease with it now. I'm just trying not to be so mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. They were either gonna realistically. I think this has been in the works for a while. Like they brought him back off of a, he only played for in Detroit for 3 games. Got his contract with the Eagles, and I felt like this has been on the table for a while. Not just trading him to Houston, but trading him in general. I think he's been thinking ahead of the game since they got him, and then really during the year of what moves they were going to make to free up some big chunks of cap space in the next couple of years. So I understand he's a leader. I understand he means a lot more to this team, and I get that. I felt like they could have waited on this another year. I mean,
that's
I
my
don't
thing.
Something, you know.
I mean, that's my thing. Why do it now? Wait a year. You're only saving $900 or whatever $1,000. Do it in a year from now. Draft a safety and then let him learn behind CJ for a year and then move him. So to me, there had to be something else. I don't know. This one to me is like, don't get. I feel like it's sort of like the way I felt about the Reddick trade at the time, which turned out did not hurt us, but like it's like that one move you didn't need to make. I don't get it. I'll never get it, And I know there's a lot of people that act like, well, he wasn't that good anyways. He wasn't this. He was, and I don't believe any of that. The only thing I can think of is they're going to draft a safety early. I think you got to draft a safety in round 1. I do. I think you got to draft a safety round 1 and start them. And I also think this. I think that means they're going to give extension to Reed Blankenship.
No,
I think he's set up for an extension coming because they don't want to pay both those guys. That's what I think. So I think when we remember the combine and they were talking to all the safeties,
right. We were wondering
I think they're looking at taking a safety first 2 picks and playing them just like they did with Q and Cooper DeJean. Now maybe they'll get a bridge safety to as insurance like a Justice Simmons. I don't know, but when they said, "Oh well, we just wanted to save $8.5 million of cash," then you go try to sign Justin Reed.
It's weird.
Something way more going on than we know. You're still
in the safety market after getting rid of him. You're still in the safety market like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and look, they got Sidney Brown, but we don't know. I mean, he's got talent. I admit that, and maybe he'll be the guy, but we don't know for sure. It's not like you had somebody like if you look at all the other moves, right? Losing Josh Sweat, you lose Milton Williams. You had guys behind them that showed something that you feel like you have something. There's nothing here with CJ. What's behind him?
Not much.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean,
one move I don't get.
I mean, Jeff McClain did put out. I mean, sorry, I forgot. I think it was John Clark that put out news on, that they're gonna, that Sidney Brown will be in competition for that safety spot. I mean, look, the guy's coming off an not right off an ACL, but he's already had an ACL, had a concussion late in the year. I think he just needs more reps, like as a starter in the offseason, or if he's going to compete, whatever. But, we saw shout to Lord Brunson because we saw like he talked to CJ and the quote unquote was, it had to happen. So I'm starting to figure out like is there more to this than just saving cap the next 2 years? Like, I wonder if he asked for a contract after that Super Bowl.
I don't know if he asked for contract, but I don't know. I just don't.
It's
like
puzzling.
It.
It's
I
puzzling.
I don't like it.
Is.
The guy. Look, I'm not saying he's and look, I'm not even saying from a production standpoint you can't fix or you can't replace him. If you get the right guy, you can. But I just look at it as like, why would I create this issue for why just keep him one more year? I would have understood it, if you drafted a guy and then you wanted to let him go after next year. But like this year, it just seems early to me, And the same thing true, and we'll get into this in a second, but the same thing holds true with this whole Dallas Goedert situation. Why am I moving him when I have no tight end to put behind him? I know they picked up some guys, but none of those guys are better than Calcaterra. They might not even be better than EJ Jenkins.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it, is my point.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Samuel, thank you for the super chat. Goes, if you guys seen Steen's numbers on the games, he did play very, very good. Yeah, I think Steen has the ability to play. I do.
Yeah.
I definitely do. So we'll figure it out.
So they signed 4 tight ends. 4. They signed. So I have to read this because I'm an idiot. They signed Cameron Latu. They signed Nick Muse to future contracts on top of signing Harrison Bryant. And apparently Kylan Granson is like a steal as a number 2 tight end right now. A lot of good things are come from. I mean, not as a number 1, as a number 2. I think if Dallas Goedert is here, he would be the number 2 guy, 16th best in pass blocking, 17th best in run blocking. And he's got a lot of experience, and he was on a crappy team with the Colts that didn't have a good quarterback, and he could break. He could be on the break of his route.
Yeah.
He could catch. He could do everything. So,
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know enough about the guy. I didn't watch enough of him to tell you, anything. I have no idea what
I
he
get
is.
it.
Sewell Blaze David Super goes, will Becton be great for 4 All Pro without 4 All Pros next to him? Fair question. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. So when we talk about the Dallas Goedert situation, this is what we're talking about. Sources: the Pound Eagles have been open to trade talks involving tight end Dallas Goedert and defensive end Bryce Huff. Goedert is in the final year of his deal, while Huff has one last year's big free agent signing. He's seen only limited time and basically stinks. So Goedert has also been reported that the Eagles basically have told him he's not coming back. And this goes to my question again: why do that right now?
Creating a hole.
Why right now and create something that's not there? When you don't have to. Like, what is going on that we're trying to let these guys unnecessarily go? When you're not, it's not like you're creating, like, if you move Goedert before June 1st, you're gonna lose cap space. So you have to move him after June 1st. So why create that problem is what I'm asking. And I don't get.
He's 11.8 against the cap. He's got no guaranteed money left on his deal. I mean, I would just redo his deal. Just the same. They did the same thing with Josh Sweat. They just redid his 1 year.
Structure 1 year and then let him go and draft a guy and then have him replaced in 2 years. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. Now, if you look at those 2 moves, well, the Goedert move hasn't happened yet. The CJ Gardner-Johnson move, I have issues with that. I do, and I hope we draft it seriously. Hope we draft the best safety in the draft and be done with it. But every other move, like Sweat, Milton Williams,
it's
all
expected.
Those guys going. I think we're okay. I think we'll survive those. I think the biggest hole in this team right now is that safety spot. Even right guard, I trust Stoutland to do something.
You saw, I mean, realistically, at the end of the Super Bowl, you saw McCollum and Sidney Brown back there. Like, I understand they're getting thrown to a game, but it's, like I said, it's not enough for those 2 guys. It's not enough for me. And I'm surprised you said they're going to re-sign Reed Blankenship, because I don't think I didn't think they were going to sign him at all. Re-sign him.
Yeah, I think so. I think they are. I mean, I think that would make, to me, that's the only thing that makes sense. Flying Puppet Comics, thank you for Super Chat, goes, with all the draft picks, let's get a tight end from Penn. If we could get up to get him, but you'd have to go up to, like, you're talking like 10, 11, 12, 13, So I don't know if you could do that. Muscletron, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, what up, fellas? All this draft capital, how far up in the first do we have to try to move for who? Well, I mean, I think the Eagles are moving up in the draft. I don't think they could go far enough to get that tight end Warren from Penn State. But I do think they could go up and get a safety. I do think they could go up and get one of the best safeties. I also think they could probably get an edge rusher. You kind of have to wait to see how the draft falls to know which one you should go. I think, if all the defensive linemen are coming off the board and the safeties are dropping, I'm trading up for safety. If the safeties are off the board early and the defensive ends are dropping, I'm trading up for a pass rusher. Mm-hmm. So, but we have to kind of wait to see, And speaking of wait, before we do that, here's a quick message I want to share with you guys really quick. You look at the NFC East, really, the Eagles are still the best team. Okay, that's not They're still the best team there is, and that, when you look at the NFC East, really. The Eagles are still the best team, okay? They're still the best team there is, and that's just the case. That's just the way it is. I think the Eagles will definitely make the playoffs. I think Washington probably will make the playoffs. And I think Dallas and the Giants will be out, and they won't make this playoffs. And if you like to look at this and possibly other different things, go to BetUS right now, where you can get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next 2 deposits, up to a $2,000 maximum. Just use promo code YouTube150. You get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next 2 deposits, up to a $2,000 maximum. Only at BetUS. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. I don't know why StreamYard changed all their controls, but it is totally screwing me up.
Seems laggy. Seems laggy too.
I hate it. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Gald, thank you for Super Chat. You all said the same thing about Haas and how we would trust. Yeah, it's true. We did. I thought the same thing with Hassan Reddick. Why trade him and create that problem? But at least you had some guys behind him, and I'll fully admit this. We have to wait and see. I'm sure that they're going to do things. I think they're going to go get a safety early. Like, I think people are going to be shocked. But I think that the reason they talk to all those safeties is they're planning on drafting one early. So I look at a guy like the kid from South Carolina, Amo Woworth, I can't pronounce his name, Malachi Starks. I think those guys are in play for us, especially if you get a huge run on defensive linemen, because that's where this draft is really deep. Everybody's going to want to go get their piece, and they're probably going to take those guys early. But you could go the other way. You could go safety and then get a defensive pass rusher, like another lineman in the second round, third round. They're going to be guys that are good. So I would do something like that.
I agree.
Paul, David Super Chat goes, I miss Becton so much, going to affect Barkley. It could. At least we got Stoutland in that situation, Romez, thank you for Super Chat. Go PFF ranked Brown 6 171 safeties in coverage in 24.
6 ranked out of 171.
6 ranked? Oh. Huh. How about that? I don't know how he could be ranked 6.
Yeah, I don't.
6 best safety.
Yeah, it doesn't even play.
With the little amount of snaps he's had.
Right.
What year was that?
24, I think.
Look, I think Brown should get an opportunity to start. I just think you got to bring competition in and let him battle it out. GJ, QJ, David Super Check. What Joey? What up, Philly? I've been thinking, if we trade Bryce Huff, then does that help us cap wise? I don't think until it has to be post June 1st. Then it will, but you have to wait till after June 1st. Samuel, thank you for Super Chat. Goes about CJ. To me, the problem is signing still Carter, Davis Sedra, and the money rolled over from Hurts and AJ. But you didn't say you're not saving money really by getting rid of him now. You save money next year. So if you would have played him out the rest of this year and then released him or traded him, I would have understood it. That makes way more sense. But I mean, we'll see. I expect the Eagles to go out and draft a safety high and then let him and Sidney Brown compete for it. That's what I think they're going to do. And that's what I would do. People talk about Justin Simmons. Like, I talked about him as a possible bridge safety. I'll be honest with you, I don't want him. I don't want to go to 31-year-old route, guys old like Kevin Byard, comes in for a year. I want a young guy. I want to play young guys. That's where we've had our success. I say draft Malachi Starks and whatever the kid from South Carolina and play them. That's what I want.
Yeah. Well, that's what Howie Rose was. Well, that's what he said at the combine. That's what he wanted. He wanted that young turnover. Because realistically, they're getting these bridge type guys that you notice that Howie Roseman's been signing 26, 27-year-olds. That's what he's been really signing, guys that are really going to bet on themselves, coming to a really good team. And, guys are going to be hungry for these contracts that they probably won't re-sign with the Eagles. These are just bridge contracts for us to have for this 1 year from some of the other signings that we have had already. So yeah, look, I'm not not against playing young guys at all. Look what happened this past year. I mean, you hit on draft picks. This is what happens. So
Exactly.
great.
Samuel, thank you for super chat. He goes, they know from 27 up, Cap will get messy, so they cut CJ now when he has value, and then the new team eat the contract and draft new blood. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just doesn't cost you that much to just keep him on your roster for one more year and then let him go. I really think the whole we want to save $8.5 million cash. I just think they were trying to not tell us what really happened. And maybe it had something to do with that whole Slay thing. I don't know. But I mean, at this point, there's no sense in bitching about it. I've complained about it for the last 3-4 days. I kind of got to just like suck it up and move on. And hopefully Howie will replace him. And I'm really hoping it's going to be in the draft. I think there are some safeties that can play.
Yeah, it's great.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Another interesting spot, a move to me was Darius Slay goes to Pittsburgh, and then you bring in what's his face,
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson was somebody they wanted a few years ago.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, man? What did you feel about that move?
I think Fangio's making it a competition at that position. I think Keely Ringo, I think he's saying, hey, I'm not giving nobody a job. And, this is, a signing where, Adoree Jackson could play outside, inside. You can move him around if you want. I think they're giving Keely Ringo his shot to start. I mean, I can't think of anything else. I mean, I know they'll bring more bodies in, but I think this is all on Keely Ringo to kind of prove himself in training camp.
Yeah, I actually liked this move. This was a move I actually liked because I think it tells you that they're going to give Ringo a chance to start. And, we talked about the plan last year. Slay plays one more year, then Ringo needs to come in and play. We said 1,000 times. So he gets his chance. And if he can't go, if he doesn't hold up, you've got a guy that I think could come in and at least hold the fort one more year. So I'm okay with this move. I actually like it. I actually like the idea of giving Ringo an opportunity.
Yeah.
Our young guys are why we got where we were. I mean, you got to play them. And if you could get a guy like a Malachi Starks, a safety, or the kid from South Carolina, and play him, and he can start, and you got a safety and a rookie deal for 4 years. Yeah, then if they want to go out and sign Reed Blankenship, which I think they're going to, yeah, I think then you're set. You're set in your secondary.
Yeah,
Harry Johnson.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, no, because I was saying that. Well, the thing is, before I didn't know that they were getting a comp pick for Isaiah Rodgers at all. Like I didn't even know that there was a comp pick involved, a 6th-round comp pick. So as soon as I found out there was a comp pick, I was like, yeah, of course he was going to be out the door. I mean, his contract was, it was not much. It was, you know what I mean. So, so we were kind of down at corner a little bit more, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we'll be okay. For 1 year. And hopefully Ringo can be that guy. That's what I hope. Harry Johnson says 500. Dallas is offering a 6 for Goedert. We may be facing Goedert wearing a satanic star from now on. I mean, a 6th-round pick for Goedert, that doesn't seem like enough for me.
Not enough.
But if they're going to cut him anyways, they may take it. They may take it. I really wonder why they're so desperate to get rid of Goedert right now. I don't get it.
No, I don't either.
Philly Joey, I'm hearing that the safety from South Carolina is, well, that safety could go really high. I've seen anywhere from about 15 to 27, 28 for him. The thing is we know players drop. I think the way the draft's going to fall, personally, is I think once you get out of like the top 10, 12 picks, I think you're going to start seeing a huge run on defensive linemen. Because everybody's going to want to get a piece of a top defensive lineman, a top edge rusher. You see how much Myles Garrett is getting paid, what those guys cost now. Everybody's going to want to get a guy that's young, and it's really deep there in the draft. I think those safeties end up falling back into the 20s. And then I think if you're the Eagles, yeah, they may be a bunch of edge rushers off the board. That's when you just go up and get the best safety. And that's how I would do it if I was the Eagles. Now, if the safeties go early, that means defensive linemen are probably dropping. Then you go up and get a defensive lineman. I know this. The Eagles are not staying at 32. That I can tell you. There's no way.
I believe it. I definitely believe it.
I like that kid, Nick Amorari, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce his name, but yeah, stud. Nico, what's going on? Even Philly Joey had to bang the snow off the satellite dish to get you all in. Oh my gosh. Where are you at getting all that snow? Chris Melnick, thank you for super chat. He goes, I feel that we are going to draft a tight end from Bowling Green because of the head coach. The new coach, the quarterback coach that we brought in, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe they're definitely going to go tight end in the draft. There's no question about it, and they've done good jobs in the past with tight end. So we'll see. You know, that's the one thing. I mean, how we're talking about the CJ thing and what's going on with Goedert. The truth of the matter is, we got to see how it plays out and who they replace them with before we can really know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, I don't know. In my chat, people keep bringing up Derwin James. Now, I'm not saying the Eagles are going to trade for Derwin James. I don't know why his name is out there being flirted around. But if they did pull something like that off, then I would say, yeah, you actually upgraded your safety position.
Oh, yeah, if you got him.
You never know. We got to wait to see how everything plays out. You know, I can't give like an all-season grade because I know that the Eagles still have work to do, you know.
Yeah, true.
Lucius the show, thank you for super chat. He goes, hot take, Ringo will start at safety, not corner. That's a pretty hot take. I can't see that this year. I could see that in 2 years. Like if he plays corner and it's not a taken in, you know what I mean? I could see that following season they try to move him, but I can't see it.
No, not right now.
Walter Nolan's a stud.
Yeah, he's great.
Walter Nolan's a stud, but he's another guy. I mean, I don't think he's around. I don't think he's around when we pick. If he is, of course, jump on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, we have a decent chance of going back to back. Hopefully the front office wants to make that run versus just clearing money for future years. Yeah, I think they do. I think they're just setting themselves up so that, you know, the next 3 years are all pretty much set up. I know they got big. I mean, here's the thing. We're in uncharted territory with the Eagles because we haven't been around. I haven't ever seen the Eagles have a 3 to 4 year stretch of draft where they hit on everybody. I mean, they're hitting on their first rounders. They're hitting on their second rounders. And all these contracts are coming up. So, you know, you got to give them, you know, how he says, you know, have patience. You got to be patient with it. But it doesn't mean you always understand what is going on. I think they have a great chance at repeating. I don't think Washington would. If you look at what Washington did, I don't think that they've closed the gap enough. I don't think that. I mean, Dallas, to me, Dallas is just getting a bunch of players that have names that are pretty much shot.
They're has-beens. Yeah,
they're all has-beens. Yeah, you know, so I don't think anybody is catching us. And really, I think the Rams got better. And then I think the Lions are good. So I still think the Eagles are the best team by far in the conference. And it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, like Washington, what they signed a few 30-year-olds. I mean, they've signed obviously Kinlaw. They signed Kinlaw. I think they overpaid him, and I don't think he's anything special. Bobby Wagner's getting a lot of, you know, a full guaranteed and they're just 1 year deals on that D line. They're just bringing guys back. They're just, I mean, and there's no longevity to the situation, you know, even at receiver, it's, you got you have a 29 turning 30-year-old in Terry McLaurin. That's going to need a new contract. And then, you know, Deebo Samuel is 30 years old, and Zach Ertz. How old is Zach Ertz? You know what I mean? What do you let him throw the ball? Let them dump the ball off to Zach Ertz and can't run upfield like slower than molasses.
And to me, if Deebo is not being used the way the 49ers used him, where sometimes he's at running back, sometimes he's in the slot, sometimes where he's moving all around, like if you're not using him like that, he's really, to me, he doesn't scare me as an outside wide receiver. Okay. I think Washington should have gone for DK Metcalf. To me, that was their move, and they blew it. So
They went cheap.
I don't think that what they've done is all that great. They gave a crap load for Tunsil.
That's
a crap load.
I mean, do you give up that many picks for a 30-year-old for a 30-year-old tackle? I mean, that's a lot of compensation, bro. That's a lot.
I think Washington. I think they screwed the pooch with how they approached this all season. I do.
They're down to like 20. They're down to like 20 something million. I can't even imagine Howie Roseman with 80. I can't even imagine, bro. I can't even imagine with the amount of money that they had, like what Howie would do with that money.
Yeah.
Splenda
says 500. I would love a safety in the first round because McCollum and Elijah Riley of Marcus is the Elijah Riley of Marcus Epps. Yeah, I think those guys are all just depth pieces at safety right now.
Yeah.
Maybe Sidney Brown could be that guy. I just think you bring in another safety and let him compete. But I think that there's going to be an opportunity. If the draft falls away, I think it might. I think there's going to be an opportunity to get one of these top safeties and really like plug them in and play them. So we'll see. Donnie, thank you for super chat. 500. Joey, should we go after Khalil Mack? Well, he already signed. He got a big.
Signed. What was it? 18. I forgot what was the fully guarantee. It was like 18 mil for 1 year. I forgot how much.
I thought. Yeah,
it was a lot.
Adam, thank you for super chat. Goes, same theming happened last year, and they made the top corners drop. So I definitely see a similar draft this year with safety. That's what I'm thinking too. But I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out. James, I remember for 40 months. Up, Philly. How's your day so far? Pound Cowboys for I'm doing good, my man. How are you? What did you think of the other couple moves I want to talk about? The Uche signing. I thought that was a really sneaky good signing. That kid Uche as a rotational guy, a third string type guy to come in, rush the passer. I like it.
I think he's going to be. I think there's going to be. I wouldn't say gem, but I think there's something's going to be there with him. I mean, really, since 22, he's been, I think, ranked 6th in pressure rate. Guy can get pressure. I know KC traded for him last year for a 6th rounder, and he was a healthy scratch a lot of games, and probably didn't play that much. Didn't play in the Super Bowl either. I think that's a sneaky, really good sign that they're just going to unleash him and see what he could do. I'm pretty excited about him.
If he could get me 5-6 sacks as a rotational pass rusher, that's all I need from him. That's all I need from him. And I'm still going to draft the guy with one of my first 2 picks, most likely. Bird Gang says, you're not going to even let them try to prove themselves. Are you talking about the safeties like McCollum and stuff? Yeah, I would let them all try to prove themselves. But I would just bring in top end talent, top end competition. If they can beat your first round pick like Malachi Starks out, so be it. But I got to bring competition in.
Yeah,
in my mind, you got to bring competition. I think that brings out the best in developing a player. I'm not going to hand a safety spot to Sidney Brown just to hand it to him. He's going to have to win it, just like Ringo, right? Like you're not just we're not just handing Ringo that corner spot. He's going to have to go earn it. So that's how I would do it. You know what I mean? You got to do that. In my opinion,
did they miss an opportunity on re-signing Oren Burks? What do you think of linebacker now? He was cheap.
I think you need. Yeah, he was 5 years, 2 years for $5 million. Here's what I assume. I assume that it's this case where you're going to promote Trotter Jr., that he's going to get an opportunity to play backup. And I think they'll probably bring in some depth before it's all said and done. But yeah. I think the idea was Trotter Jr. I mean, Trotter Jr., he was going to play in the playoffs, and it was only because Burks came out, started playing good, that they never really had a chance. He never really got a chance to go in. So I'm okay with that. You got Zach Bowen back. That was my big thing.
Yes.
Obviously we have to see what happens with Nakobe Dean. Definitely think you need depth there. But to me, it's one of those other positions. You have guys waiting in the wing, like everybody crying about Josh Sweat. I'm sorry. I think Jalen Hunt showed me a lot. I think Nolan Smith showed me a lot. Ojomo showed me a lot. Like, I think these guys are ready to take the reins.
Yeah, I agree.
It's that safety spot that I'm like,
I know
that's where I get thrown off.
I agree.
Philly Joe, you're wearing your Corral gear for draft. Listen, the draft has not been bad since the Matt Corral jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
On point.
Yeah. They should be all the way under. They got rid of damn near the whole defense. You didn't get rid of the whole defense. You got rid of some pieces on defense, but you didn't get rid of the whole defense. I mean, Jalen Carter's there. Jordan Davis is there. Nolan Smith is there. Jalen Hunt is there. Nakobe Dean's still there. Trotter Jr. is there. Zach Bond is there. You still got Q. You still got Cooper DeJean. You still got Reed. No, you didn't lose your whole defense or most of them.
A lot of Eagle fans are just like, that this defense is gutted now. Like, they think it's just gutted. Like, look, this Eagle fans aren't used to this, man. Like, this is a new era now. Like, they're producing young players now, and the overturn of that is getting these young players to start and produce over these years. So that's where it is. But did you see Ben Van Simmeren? So they re-signed him.
Mm-hmm.
And they had him listed on their official Twitter site. They had him listed as a fullback, not even as a linebacker.
I know.
So they love using him at linebacker.
They like it, and that's fine. I thought he did good when he had a chance. Now, speaking of running back, I don't want to forget AJ Dillon.
Oh yeah.
I love this signing. Okay, I love it. I think the Eagles have actually upgraded their running back position. Okay. Now he's got to be healthy, and I'm assuming that that he's cleared, his neck is cleared, and that he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But if he's healthy and he plays, I think he's a very, very good backup. I mean, you got an offensive line that is going to wear teams out. You have a running back in Saquon Barkley that wears teams out. You're now going to have him come in and rotate in and get snaps, and he's going to wear teams out. And then you have a quarterback who could run himself. These teams are going to be, by the fourth quarter, they're going to be done. They're going to be worn out because the Eagles, man, they're built to beat your ass. I love it. I love that signing. I loved it.
Yeah, like it's like even like in 2017 when they had Garrett Blount and they had Kenyon Barner and a couple of the J.J. and a couple of the other guys. So I love that just you have like two heavy punches in the backfield, man. Like two guys. I mean, what are they called? The cat. What was the nickname for him?
Quadzilla.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like
those guys' quads are crushing skulls. You know what I mean?
to bring a back like that. I mean, hopefully don't give him the Rashad Penny treatment, but yeah, I would love that guy in short yardage or just getting defenses tired, man.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, like I said, I've only really had problem with one move. That if you take that one move away, I'm good. I'm good with where we are because we have talked about this happening since before last year started. We said this is Josh Sweat's last year, that Milt Williams was probably going to go start somewhere. This was the plan all along, that you play to start the young guys and then they take over. And that's what you had happen. Now you have that situation playing out, and it's going to continue. It's going to continue. So to me, we are doing what we need to be doing. Now, maybe somebody would have liked a bigger splash signing, Myles Garrett trade or something like that. But those things didn't work out. However, I think the young guys are ready to play, and I think we'll be okay. We got to shore up a few holes that we created, but other than that, I think we're good. Anthony Lear says running back position is definitely an upgrade. I agree.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson hasn't even been signed yet. no one's even traded for him yet. Even Washington has stayed away from the big time edge rushers with the amount of money they had. I'm surprised they didn't pick one up, to be honest with you. But after when Crosby got his 35.5, it was almost. Or really not even that. The thing when Milton Williams signed 26 per year. I mean, that's like TJ Watt money. I mean, that's like TJ Watt money.
And look, Parsons still going to get signed, and Crosby getting signed. So you're talking about these guys are like $40 million a year. That's why I think the way the draft's going to fall, you're going to see a heavy run on pass rushers because everybody's going to want to get a guy that can develop into a pass rusher on a rookie contract. Mm-hmm. That's what they're going to want to do. And they're going to draft, and the draft is going to go heavy that way. And it's going to create an opportunity where you could get maybe the best safety in the draft. So, and if you get the best top 2 safeties in the draft, you could start them. Maybe they can start right away. And that's how you do it. Then all of a sudden, that makes the CJ Gardner-Johnson move a lot easier for me to deal with.
Right.
Splenda says 500. I didn't expect many moves this free agency because this free agency class is horrible. Yeah, I don't think it was all that good. I don't think it was all that good either. To me, it's just the extra stuff that I just didn't expect. And listen, let's face it, they're also making sure that they don't sign guys that do anything, because the compensatory pick, they've got a lot of them, but you could also lose them depending upon how much you give a free agent. So they're playing that game. And by the way that they've drafted in years prior, I'm okay with that. And the fact is I don't think we've gutted our whole defense. I said to you, get Zach Bond signed, and I think that whatever happens, we'll be all right. Didn't see the CJ thing coming, though.
No, that's the only thing we didn't see coming. Yeah.
Yeah. T-Bone, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, hi, guys. I'm very disappointed this all season. We need 2 stud defensive ends. Smith and Hunt cannot play every down. Milton's gone. Ojomo is up. Who's defensive tackle number 4? Ojomo's replacement. Draft must defensive end 2 defensive tackles, linebacker safeties, plus street help. No Super Bowl repeat. T-Bone, my man, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I understand your feelings, but I think here's how I see it. All right, this is just my opinion. That Smith and Hunt will play more snaps, and I think they turn into every down possible type players. I also think that you'll draft a defensive end. As far as Milton going, I think Ojomo is developing the same way in which Milton Williams was at the same stage that Milton Williams was in. He'll get more snaps, and you'll get a 4th defensive tackle in this draft. This is one of the deepest drafts for defensive linemen. Mm-hmm. They'll get another defensive tackle to replace Ojomo. So I think that'll be okay. You got Zach Bond back. That's important. But I think that this had to happen because you've been so successful with these draft guys. I mean, if you sign Sweat, then what are we going to do? Stop developing Jalix Hunt? Because what will happen is Jalix Hunt will get less reps. Nolan Smith, like it or not, but I love Brandon Graham, but Brandon Graham getting hurt helped him get more reps, helped him develop more. I think we've got to trust the developmental process that goes on with this team right now. And I think we'll be better off than you think. We still got that offense, and we still got big pieces on defense. I think we'll be okay. But look, it's one other thing, and I'll shut up.
No, you're good.
It's March. Good. We're not playing tomorrow. We're not playing tomorrow. We're playing in August. So let's see how it plays out. But thank you for that super chat.
Yeah, and people are acting like even Milton Williams, like it took, like was he a monster when he first got into the league? He's a 3rd round pick, you know what I mean? So it took him a few years to get where he's at. That's why it's going to take time for some of these guys. But the Eagles starting defensive line now could start today. Having Nolan Smith on the edge, having Jalix Hunt, that's just the biggest mistake they made with Jalix Hunt was not start him earlier in the season. they started him way too late,
Right.
and he went through his progressions. And then once they hit the playoffs, that was it. Nolan Smith, 4 or 5 sacks in the playoffs. Jalen had a couple sacks, was getting some good pressures in the playoffs. Like, there's some good things to take from it. And like I said, you still got you still got the rest of free agency or whatever until, because I think there'll be more signings, and you still have an entire draft that, like Philly said, it's very deep at edge rusher, deep at DT. It's the perfect draft for our needs, whether it's best player available or if there's someone on the board. Like they are in a good moment at 32 where if there's like 4 or 5 guys still on the board, and they feel like, let's trade back, and day 2 we could try to aim for this guy. They got 4 5th-round picks in this draft this year. They're loaded right now. They're going to be wheeling and dealing up and down the draft board, whether they're trading up, trading down, getting picks for next year. They got 12 picks in 26. 12.
Yeah.
That's huge. So they can always use a pick to move up for the next year's draft. They have plenty of picks. The more ammo you have, the better it's going to be. So I think we just got to give it time, man. Like we have to let this thing marinate. Like that's what it's all about.
Sonny Black says Brown can't cover. He's aggressive with tackling, but he misses a bunch of tackles. Personally, I agree with you. There's one position that I've complained about in this stream and many times is the CJ Gardner-Johnson thing. I don't get. And I do think that the safety position is a legit problem right now. However, I'm hoping, and I think the plan will be to get a young one of the top draft pick safeties in here. And I think you'll probably see a free agent guy come in, kind of like they did with Dory Jackson. So hopefully we can clog that up, and then Sidney Brown can get a chance to compete. But I think the safety spot is a problem. But, here's the thing. You still got a good secondary. You still got Q. You still got Cooper DeJean. These are studs. These are lockdowns. I like Reed Blankenship. I think he showed me a lot. I think he's solid. And then I think, at worst case scenario, Ringo don't work out on that outside corner. I think Adoree Jackson can be competent there and be decent. And I think the secondary is still going to be pretty good. So I think that's the worst case scenario. However, you're right. The safety spot, in my opinion, that spot they created for no reason, that hole, they've got to figure something out, and they got to do something about it. I'm 100% with you there, and that's a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah. Whether they sign Justin Simmons early, or whether they go into this draft and go get their guy, because it's to me, I feel like it's more important. Yeah, for me, I feel like safety is like the pick now. That's where I'm at. So.
Yeah. Now I'm just here to see you guys think about your guys' replacements and get burned. I thought Jalen Hunt started to come on. I think he gets a bigger role. I think he can handle it. I think Nolan Smith had a breakout year in the playoffs. If you look at the production, of Nolan Smith, he outproduced Josh Sweat in the playoffs. If you look at Jalen Hunt's production compared to Josh Sweat in the playoffs, he had pretty much the same statistics as Josh Sweat in the playoffs. So these guys are ready to handle more. That's part of their development. And in order to be successful in this league, you've got to develop the young guys. So the Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, those guys going, I think we're going to be okay. The one that bothers me, and I think is a major concern that they haven't fixed yet, is safety. And I think that we're gonna have to do that. And that's kind of how I see it. Brian Pumper, David Super Chat, he goes, yeah, I'm not counting on Kylie and Sydney. We all thought Dean and Nolan were bums last offseason. I believe in these guys. Yeah. No, I can't believe Brian Pumper saying this. I agree with you. I agree. I'm not saying Sidney Brown can't be good. I think give him a chance. Let him compete. but you have to bring in competition. What I've seen from
Yeah.
Sidney Brown so far, I don't know that he could be the guy. I'm not going to say. I do believe Ringo is better than people think, and I think he needs a chance. Now, if he doesn't pan out and Adoree Jackson comes in, Adoree Jackson's not some greatest corner, but he's competent enough to be able to play the position. And when you have all the other talent in the secondary, he'll be fine.
By the way, all week people have been like in my chat all week. They're like, "Can you tell Philly to stop saying Keely Ringo's name wrong?" Everyone's like, "It's not," because you always call him Kylie. You say Kylie Ringo all the time.
Keely Ringo.
Yeah, there you
all
go.
right, I'm sorry. I apologize, everybody. Please forgive me for my language. Yeah, I don't know. We have holes. We have holes from last year, but no one has closed the gap, in my opinion. You mean team-wise? Yeah. I think, like I said, I think the team that's closed the gap the most would be the Rams. I think the Rams would have come the closest.
Yeah,
I
agree.
But who knows? Pause the holes. Yes, pause the holes. Why not let them play, then see that? You got to let them play. You got to let them play. Like Sidney Brown, you got to let him play, but you have to have somebody in to compete with him. So I have no problem drafting like a safety, like a Malachi Starks, let's say, just as an example. And let Sidney Brown go and beat him out. You know what I mean?
Right. Don't gonna push the guys harder, so.
Waiting for Madden 26. Geez, that's the last thing I think about. Madden. Yeah, I like Christian Parker, and I think we've got good coaches on defense, especially. You know what I mean?
Thank God we retained all of them. Thank God.
Yeah. If I wanted the safety you like is pronounced Emin Worry. All right, Emin Worry. Gotcha. I saw the star fella, and he didn't look good versus Texas. Okay. T-Bone, man, thank you for the super chat, man. It's very generous of you. Shout out to T-Bone. Said money won't buy happiness. Chasing cash is not good sense. I get it. Players see the cash and want it. You and I deal in 100s and 1000s, not in millions. When is enough enough? 20 million per year to play on a losing team versus 7.5 million per year to stay on a winning team. Smart. No, I hear you. I hear you. Like, when is enough enough? I get it. But those guys see that money. They get that championship. Look at Milton Williams. Like he's getting paid more than Brady ever made in New England.
Because Brady took pay cuts every year.
Patriots. Because he wanted to win.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. So, Milton said, that's the best day of his life was getting paid even over the Super Bowl. So, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't get it, dude. Us normal people can't think. You know how much money that is? Like, you can't even imagine.
You got to think too, bro, because these edge rushers, who they're benefiting. They're benefiting from when Jalen Carter is on that side. Guys are going to benefit, especially with Jordan Davis as well.
Yeah. I'm going to click on this, but I might have to click on it early. I can't see. It's blurry, but I think this might be something weird. What the heck is that thumbnail?
I have no idea. I have no
500, how's it hanging, fellas? We are in thick of Howie Vision. What's going to do next? Draft a quarterback in the second round? No, I think my guess is a trade up for a safety in round 1. That's what I think they're going to do. We'll see, Anthony says, Fangio took us the 30th ranked defense to 1. I'm not worried. I think they'll continue to develop these guys, We'll see. We'll see what they do, but I don't know, man. I know you're not feeling well. Right. Is there anything else, man, you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I mean, we just gotta wait. I don't know what other moves we're gonna make. Whether they move Bryce Huff, the Dallas Goedert situation, and if they sign a bridge safety from now until the draft, which I'm kind of on board with you. Kind of like I'm not really into it, to be honest. I want to go into this draft pretty fresh. So if they create more cap space in some way or whatever's going on, yeah, it's been a ride. This week has been crazy. It's been crazy. It's been turning Eagle fans away that were, maybe a lot are thinking that we're not, competing for a championship this year, that they've lost way too much defensively.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that. But we'll see. I believe that they got the young guys for the most part, minus the CJ thing, to fix it. Time will tell. T-Bone, man, Dave for Super Chat. He goes, my last thought, I will be rooting my Birds on, but without at least 4 more impact players like Cooper and DeJean, we're not winning the East. We lost so much. Well, listen, we got a lot of time left. You've got draft night. I expect them to be very aggressive. Remember, we're not playing tomorrow. We're playing, September. So there's still time. They didn't even trade for A.J. Brown to draft night. So you don't know what trades, how he's got, maneuvering. We gotta be a little patient. I know people are uneasy right now, but I really think that a lot of these young guys are going to be fine.
Yeah.
But what happens every year, guys you think are going to be good aren't, and then the guys that you think weren't going to be any good are. So that'll happen again.
Yeah, that's true.
Rocky, thank you for super chat. Let Howie cook. Be patient, people. Agreed. A lot of time left. But time is over here on this episode of the Philly Shakedown podcast. We're going to get out of here. You got anything planned tomorrow or anything?
I don't know what I'm doing. I might just take a rest day tomorrow, to be honest. It's been a long week. Since it's Sunday, I kind of want to do some other stuff tomorrow and then start fresh on Monday, probably. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow either. It's been a long week with everything, with all the streaming and work and everything. So I'm just going to kind of just see what happens. If they don't do anything tomorrow, I may just rest and then get ready for Monday. So anyways, guys, we are out of here. We hope you guys have a great night, and we will talk to you later. Peace out.
Peace out.
A quick second to shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. If you go there right now and you use promo code YouTube150, you can get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next 2 deposits, up to a $2,000 maximum. Only at Bet.